Hello, younger old here, and welcome to my channel. Now today I'm just sitting in the conservatory wondering if this wet weather is ever going to improve, just so I can get the bike out. So I'm just sort of sitting here starting to reminisce, and all of a sudden I started thinking about life back in the 70s. I'm going to share that, see if you remember the same things as I do. Stay tuned and watch the intro. Now, I was 12 in 1970 and often went to school, just depending on how busy I was. I was a child who even back then preferred to be outdoors rather than in home. My spare time was spent out on my bikes. Actually, I just realised all these years later and nothing much has changed, as I'm still doing that. My friends envied my bike as I got one of the first Gen 1 rally choppers in orange. Saturday morning was basically watching the double deckers and the banana split show. I bet you now are all singing in your head, tra-la-la, la-la-la-la. I love their six-wheel all-terrain vehicles, the Amphicat. After the chopper was well and truly wrecked, I just started hanging around on the streets, smoking consulate menthol, as I didn't like smoking, but it was just a cool thing to do back then. I left school at 16 with no exam passes, still a big regret, but I had an apprenticeship, so I started work. At 17 I purchased my Suzuki B120 for about 225 quid. It had to be Suzuki, as that's what Barry Sheen rode, and he was the super cool sports person at the time. Listening to poorly copied T-Rex and Pink Floyd tracks on a cheap cassette player, unlike today's youth with iPhones, Bluetooth and AirPods. Thursday nights was top of the pops, which just couldn't be missed, as well as the Radio 1 Top 40 on a Sunday evening. Hanging out with friends on bikes, dressed in my Oxford bags that had to be so long to cover your platform shoes as well. It did save polishing your shoes because no one could see them. The downside was this: when you was in home and you took your shoes off, you'd be tripping up over the long trousers. Boy, I were cool. Well, my special mirror thought so. A year later, my second year's insurance was due. Had I saved any money? Well, of course not. Why listen to your parents, eh? What do they know? What experience in life have they had, huh? I used to use my bike to commute to work, so now it was going to be a fair walk to the bus stop and then catch a bus into town and then another 30-minute walk from town to work. Sod that. So I just moved from my dad's house and I went to live with my mum and stepdad, which was a 2-minute walk from my boss's house, so at least I could get a lift to work and back. It was also a 2-minute walk to my local pub where my mates used to go, so it was a win-win there. I still used to use my bike, but purely just for off-roading. There was a disused train line at the bottom of my mum's garden, and it just used to get rode up there a lot until it got wrecked. It never went on the road again after that, and I still had a year's finance to pay on it, but oh well. In 1976 there was a musical explosion known as punk rock. Now, I liked some of it, but I didn't like the way they looked, but I couldn't dress that way because I needed to dress smarter for work. So that was a bit of a no-no. But I did have my hair cut a bit shorter and had a little bit of spikiness to it, and that were okay. I also met my girlfriend, who is now my wife. However, we did have a 38-year break before we rekindled our relationship. So now, being single in 1978, no motorbike or any other transport, there was nothing else to do but just go to the pub. Now CB radio was just sort of becoming popular, and I just had to have one. The fact they were illegal just made it even more attractive. So after the pub shut, went back home, switched on the rig, and 1 for a copy. Soon all my new CB mates were calling me back, we're napping at her, until one of them suggested, can I come over for a coffee? Of course, was my reply. And yes, all the others listening would just roll up as well, in their cars, and come on in for a coffee. Now this could be up to 15 mates just descending on my mum's house after midnight. And no matter how quiet I asked them to be, it just never happened. My dear departed stepdad was a great guy, and to be fair, if I was him I'd have thrown me out. My mum's place was a detached bungalow with a very large garden, and it was sort of in the middle of nowhere. And I remember one Sunday morning about 2 a.m. one of my mates went into my mum's bedroom and just basically started bouncing on the bed, waking and annoying my mum. He was moaning that he was hungry, so my stepdad suggested that they just get up and make everybody burgers. My mates even used to have a whip round so we could send my mum and stepdad away for the weekend, just so that we could have a party. Mum's garden was ideal. My DJ mate used to bring down his gear, flashing lights on the bungalow roof, and party away. The record attendance I got on one of these nights was over 80 people. I ashamedly took every advantage of my mum and stepdad's kindness, but looking back, they enjoyed being part of our crowd, and in return, my mates would do anything to help them. The car was always service free, any electrical work or plastering during the house renovations and extensions were done for free. If we went out for a meal, mum and stepdad were not allowed to pay for anything. It was my mates' way of showing their appreciation. It's a shame all my photos got lost when the river burst its banks and the flood destroyed them all. Where did that decade go? I've enjoyed composing this, so you know what, I feel I just must go now to the 80s, and that for me was the best decade ever. So if you've enjoyed this little trip down memory lane and doing a bit of reminiscing, please do the ticks, like and subscribe, and as always, take care, ride safe, and bye for now.